All right. Today is a great day to be an American. We successfully took care of things with the election. So I'm happy. I'm happy because we don't have to worry about war for the next 4 years with China, with Taiwan. And so that matters to me. Okay. Human life, I think, should be prioritized over a lot of the other stuff that we tend to argue about. But without making this too much of a political post, today was, I'll be completely honest, today was not like a super productive day making calls. I actually did not make calls given I didn't have leads compiled from the night before. I'd spent a lot of the night obviously following along with the election. And then today, I had spent some time, actually trying to talk with people who, disagreed or like had different views. And like I said, I think open discussion, respectful discussion is something that's much needed. So what I will talk about today is I want to talk about kind of just what I've been feeling as far as what's working well with talking to realtors, what's not, and kind of just building from there. So obviously, realtors are going to want to make sure they're not wasting their time. Sometimes they've been in business for a while, sometimes they're just starting, but they're all getting hammered by wholesalers, by people calling, saying the same things over and over again. So we've submitted probably, mm, I want to say like maybe 7, 8 offers, 6, 7, 8 offers, somewhere around that range. And most sellers I'm finding are not wanting to go down the seller finance route with single family homes, which makes sense given that a lot of times single family homes are owned by what is it called? People who live in the home, like owner occupied. That's not the word I'm looking for, but we've only submitted, like I said, max like maybe 8, max like 10 offers. Again not exactly sure. I would have to count numbers, but we haven't submitted all that many. And just like making YouTube videos, when you first start out making YouTube videos, they're not all going to be all that great. Like our first YouTube video, we're stumbling. I mean, I even sped it up just because I didn't like how I sounded, just talking at a normal pace. So while the leads that I have currently, the ones that I have heard back from, I've been told, hey, seller's not interested, which is cool. It's a numbers game. Like if you could just walk in here and within a few days make 30K, everybody would be doing this. But I think if we aim for submitting 100 offers, we should be able to get at least one person to say yes. So again, it's about volume, and we do need to make sure that we maintain volume. I'll be completely honest. I woke up this morning like super tired because I went to bed at like 3. And then from there, I mean, I had random meetings throughout the day. So it just wasn't great for like a focus block type oriented day. I had to finish typing out the offers, but it is what it is. Not every day is going to be always, massive improvement from the previous, but we want to look at the macro scale. So making sure each week overall is becoming better and better, and each month for sure should be a very consistent and strong improvement. So as far as the emails that I'm showing you guys, since I am walking you guys through kind of my entire process, I've already shown you some of the calls. I'll show you the emails that I'm sending out as far as the offers, so you guys can kind of just see what I'm saying with these realtors when I am submitting a deal. So I will go ahead and share the screen. So as far as the way that I was writing my offers, I'm pretty much, since I'm using the same strategy, I'm using a very similar template for all of these. Now I do customize the first part of the paragraph just based on kind of what we had talked about over the phone. And so some of these are going to be a little bit better. Like if I can get feedback from the realtor as to what the seller may prefer in the offer, that builds trust with the realtor for one, because it shows that I actually care about what is in the best interest of their client. But at the same time, it also adds a more personal feel, and they can tell it's not just like some copy and paste template. I mean, obviously there's a template, but I'm not just copying and pasting the same message, the same email. So all the offers have within it the terms just written out very basic, and then below it we're kind of just giving insight as to why it would make sense, maximizing the profit. And obviously, like if you bought a house for 100K in 2000 and then now you're looking to sell it for 250, you're going to be paying capital gains tax on the 150K that it appreciated by. So all in all, what we're doing is we are crafting these offers based on cash flow, because end of the day, that is what people are going to buy when it comes to investing into these properties. Now, given we have been taking note of everyone that we're talking to, I should honestly have a separate spreadsheet so that everybody that I've submitted an offer to an email, I can track, make sure that I'm following up. Because sometimes, a seller may say no upfront, but then like 2, 3 weeks go by, they're still getting pitched lowball offers, and then they become a little bit more open to the idea. So what we could do is just organize some of our best leads into a sheet, which I'll do at another time. But just to show you how I'm actually putting together the numbers for the offer, I'll show you the calculator that I've been using. So essentially what we're doing is we are pulling information that is freely available to be able to comp out, or not comp out, but to be able to map out the projected profit that the property could bring in. So first we just enter the list price, which is over here, and then we enter the purchase price, which is what we can offer. And we're going to be able to determine what we can offer based on the cash flow. So getting the rental revenue, I've been using Rentcast. You can use a lot of different sites, but essentially you just pull the address, you put it into Rentcast, and it's going to give you a number. So you paste that here, and the insurance and property tax, you will also need this as well. And this you can find on Zillow. Essentially, when you're looking at a property, you'll just scroll down and you'll see a little circle mark right here, and you'll see the property and the insurance. So Essentially, you'll pull these just to make sure that you're understanding the expenses involved with running the property. The calculator already has included 20% taken off for capital expenditure and management. And this is going to give us the number that property is cash flowing at. So based on this number, investors want usually a minimum of 12%. But if you can get 20%, 24%, you will have buyers for that deal. So this deal didn't have a ton of cash flow based on the way that we had mapped this. We could have put this even at like, if we amortize this over 40 years, 40 years would put that, at $550 a month for the seller at 20%. And the other thing that we're factoring into this is obviously like this is not a deal that somebody selling the property wants to wait 40 years to be paid out of. So ideally, what we can do is we can structure it so that we have a balloon. And so for a lot of these deals, I'm doing 10-year balloons. This one was an 8-year balloon. But essentially, we made our offers based on the cash flow, and then we have our assignment fee, which is written into here. So we're shooting for above 12%. And the company that I'm working for, as far as dispositions, typically looks for some criteria. And so we just match that according to what we can put together in the calculator. So after we have the numbers for what works, we just enter that into the email, and then we send these out the next morning. And so I've sent out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this one I haven't sent out because I haven't talked directly with the official listing agent, but we've sent out 9 offers. So it's a start, but we definitely need more than that. Like I said, I think if we submit 100 offers, we could get a deal. But we've only been doing this for 2 days, and we've done 9 offers. We could have had 10 really if we had spent more time calling, but I'm getting into the routine. I tend to get distracted too. Like, I don't really like working in my room all that much just because it's really easy to start messing with, notes that are on my desk or like other things that are just distracting me on my guitar. Like, there's just things here that I think your bedroom should be used for sleep and not much else. Obviously, if you got a girlfriend, other reasons, but so yeah, as far as these deals, given we've done 9 in 2 days, 20 days, obviously not the weekends, but 20 days would be about a month. And so I think honestly, we could very easily within a month submit 100 offers. And if we do 100 offers in a month, we could almost for sure close a small assignment fee, even if it's not some ginormous 20, 30K check. I would be happy just getting the confidence of getting a deal. So we just have to make sure we keep up the volume. Today, before going to bed, I will need to definitely start looking at some more leads. So that way I have people to call and I can just go straight into things going into tomorrow. Now, main reason I'm doing acquisitions right now, well, there's multiple reasons, but one is to pay the bills. I need to move out ASAP, cannot stay here. 2 is I need to be able to prove my concept. I need to be able to have enough cash that I can, start purchasing assets myself. And as soon as I have some assets under my name that are cash flowing, that are giving me income, I could then at whatever point decide to open up a test project. And, whether I'll have to think of how I would want to set it up, because obviously people have to know what Ethereum is and be comfortable buying it to be able to buy the NFTs. But I do have a couple friends who've already bought NFTs before. And so what I would probably do is I would hit them up and I would be like, hey, I've bought a few assets. I'm cash flowing this much a month. I'm wanting to prove the concept with what I'm building on the blockchain. If I made an NFT that paid out X amount of dollars per month, would you buy it? And then from that point, I can try to network with some of the friends of my friends who may be willing to buy it and, maybe sell. It doesn't need to be a lot. Honestly, it could be even just one, but I need to prove the concept so I can begin the process of building trust in the space and be able to show that this is something that can be used, because it can. It can literally be used for so much things. And I'm starting to get better at explaining it. I did have a few conversations. I actually had 2, one over text, one over call today, talking with pretty much strangers, people who are in the real estate space or private equity, but kind of explaining the idea. And I'm getting better because I'm not using the words NFT. I'm not using words that are going to trigger people's memory of the scams and the fucking bullshit that happened in 2021. I'm explaining it in a way that is using words that are just explaining the use case behind it rather than the technology itself. So it's a process, but again, that's part of why I'm wanting to learn acquisitions in the first place, because again, you want to do things that you can stack reason on reason on reason why it makes sense. And by making phone calls to realtors and explaining a way of buying a deal that isn't traditional, you have to be good at communicating, and you have to be good at having them understand your ideas without having to, over-explain the method that you're trying to take. Now, honestly, I will say this. There's this guy named, it's Vin something. It's like VINH. He's this Asian guy. He's a pretty good speaker, but he used to be very awkward. And I was listening to him talk about how to become a better public speaker. And so he was mentioning the fact of, paying attention to things like body language, paying attention to tonality, and, basically different habits you can take to improve your presentation skills, which I think is going to be essential. I've definitely improved from the start of this channel. Like I do credit filming every day to getting more comfortable with just speaking without all the ums, the ahs, the stuttering, the pauses. And so it's been helpful, but we can take things a step further by paying even more closer attention and really trying to analyze the way that we're speaking, not just with the words, but the metaverbals themselves. Because I do notice, like, even when I'm talking sometimes, like, I'll notice things about like my body language, my facial structure, which if I'm paying attention to, I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. But when I'm not, it looks kind of awkward. So I can do some improvements there. And it just comes down to recording yourself and paying attention. So what Vin basically specified was there's three things that you want to do. You'll record yourself first, but you want to take, some time away from when you first record to actually analyzing it, because you tend to be overly critical about yourself. So take a few hours, take a day, but then you come back and you play the recording. And the first time you don't watch the video, but you just listen to the words. The second time you turn the volume off and you just watch the body language. And then the third time and then the third thing is you get a transcript of all the words, including the filler words, and you pay attention to what is being said. And by doing those three things, he said that's the most effective way to improve the way that you speak. So what we'll be doing is, the cool thing with CapCut, the editor tool that we use, is it transcribes the words in a video automatically. And so we can use that to analyze what the words are being said. And as far as the videos themselves, I haven't really been reviewing them all that much. Sometimes I will watch them over, but given, views hasn't been the priority, I haven't spent much time reviewing. And I don't want to spend hours a day doing activities that aren't going to produce income, given income is quite a necessity at the moment. But I think it is something that we could incorporate, given a lot of these videos are only 10 to 20 minutes max, really. I think the longest video was still under half an hour, maybe longer, I don't know, but nothing's crazy long. Nothing's over an hour. And we could spend the time analyzing a little bit more about how we're going about communicating to improve pretty much just everything I outlined. So I want to just get to the point where I can speak into the camera and feel so comfortable and confident about the way that I spoke that I don't even need to do any sort of edits or cuts or clips. The most I have to do is just put some music, some audio, and some visuals. So if we can get better at speaking, we can refine the amount of time spent editing, and that allows us to post more content and then as well focus on the things that are going to produce more income and provide more value. So those are just kind of some of the things that I thought about today. So short video, but I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.